Okay, so welcome everyone to another True Grit Live Q&A session. Today we're continuing our short series around our Aussie Titles 24-hour enduro event, which will be held at Dargle Farm, just outside of Sydney on March 5th and 6th, 2022. So retros are going live this Sunday at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, so that's Sydney time. So make sure you sign up to our email newsletter. You can do that on our website, truegrit.com.au, just down in the footer, just so you can be reminded when they're live. So today's the second of several Q&A sessions that we're having around the Enduro event, and we're hosting past Enduro participants. So these Q&A sessions are designed specifically for first-timers to the Enduro event, perhaps people who have completed our 10-kilometre course and are after a new challenge, or people entirely new to True Grit who are keen to give the Enduro event a go. So in these sessions, we'll be covering a range of topics, including solo and team training tips, strategy ideas, nutrition advice, tips if you're pit crewing for a competitor, and just some general ideas and advice around other things such as equipment and what to bring. So we're also holding a competition throughout for your chance to win a True Grit merch pack, which also includes an awesome discount voucher off your Enduro 2022 entry. So all you have to do is stay tuned throughout the live and listen out for a special code word. And then you just need to head to our website, truegrit.com.au, to the blog and find the latest Enduro post, pop it in there for your chance to win. So in today's session, we're chatting to not one but two people. So Luke Camp and Erin Cobby, the dynamic duo from South Australia. So Erin is a personal trainer specialising in group fitness. She first experienced Enduro as a dedicated pit crew back in 2019, and then experienced it as a participant in a team of 4 this year. And Luke is the owner of Luke's Fitness Bootcamp down in sunny Adelaide, and is a 3-time Enduro solo participant. So Luke finished in the top 10 in the 2019 World Champs, which is a massive achievement. Luke loves the challenges of the solo enduro and is coming back for more in 2022. But enough from me, let's hear it from them. So I'll just add them into the session now. All right. Okay, should be popping up any second. Here they are. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi, great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. No, I said sunny Adelaide. Is it sunny down there at the moment? Oh. Oh no, they're frozen.
Frozen, isn't it?
Oh, there you are. Gotcha. Are you there?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
there we go.
Yeah, sorry, we just switched the. All good.
Yay. Awesome. Now, I said earlier that it was sunny down in Adelaide. Is it sunny there?
Yes, beautiful
Beautiful
day.
day.
Perfect training weather.
It's always sunny there. No, awesome. Well, so great to have you on board. Let's get straight into it. I think we'll start off with Erin, if that's cool. So, Erin, can you give us a little bit of an intro about yourself?
Yeah, so basically we're in Adelaide. I'm one of the PTs down here, so I love running classes. I love pushing people, so it's a real big passion of ours. We have 2 kids, so that is always getting us out and about, which is a lot of fun, us active and chasing them, I suppose. But yeah, other than that, all we really do is work and train. So that's, yeah, we love sharing our passion with everyone and pushing people to do events. So that's pretty much all we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, love it. And Erin, tell us a little bit about your experience with the Enduro event to date.
So yeah, as you mentioned before, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, 2019. I was pit crew for Luke. That was the year when it was World Championship. So that was a really good experience. I hadn't really done a lot of obstacle stuff myself at that point, so I was really keen to get there and just experience it from the sidelines. But as soon as that finished, I was pretty eager to have my turn. So as soon as we left, I said to Luke, right, next time it's my turn, I want to give it a go. So straight from then, pretty much, I started training and then got a few people together from the gym that I thought were capable of giving it a go with me. And I said, hey, let's give this a go. So yeah, and then this year I went over there. We had about 10 or 12 people from the gym.
Yeah, it was about 15, including the pit crew.
Yeah, so a few of us went over there. I did it in a all-girls team of 4 this year, which was such a good experience. It was, yeah, can't wait to come back next year.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And what I guess would be your advice for first timers to enduro?
I think, especially going in for your first year, I think you just need to enjoy the experience more so than go out and win it, or go out with a set goal. I think my team, our aim was just to get through it and just do as many laps as we could without putting too much pressure on ourselves to podium or to finish in a certain spot. So I think as a first timer, yeah, just go and enjoy it. Do some research on how you think. Look at other athletes. I think that's one thing that I've taken from it is I've done some research of athletes that have done it a few, even learning from Luke, and just and just to enjoy it. Just take one lap at a time and just be part of the whole thing without all the pressures of first place or whatever it might be. Yeah, and then learn from that. And then next year, that's something that I'm going to do is this year try and go a little bit harder. And obviously, I learned heaps about myself in that first year, learning what your strengths and weaknesses are and being able to build from that on your second, third years is probably my advice. Just go with the flow and yeah, cool. Okay, awesome. Was it the first time for all 4 of you? Were you all fresh? Yeah, it was actually. So I was.
Yeah.
I think one of the other girls had done a True Grit before, but I'd done True Grit, so I had a bit of an idea of what was happening. I think going as a pit crew, I kind of knew a little bit about how it worked, so I was able to give my knowledge off to the girls in my team. So they were pretty nervous, but they did such a good job. They obviously, and not especially because I went first as well. I was the first lap, not knowing, and they were sitting there all nervous. But I think once they did their first lap, it was all good. And each lap we just tried to build and talk about how it went. And I think as a first timer, you just use everybody around you, use your pit crew, chat to people, and then each lap try and achieve a little small goal that maybe you weren't able to the lap before.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. I guess what would be your top 3 tips for completing enduro?
I think, definitely, like I said, just go for the experience. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't think about how long you're going to be out there for. So just enjoy the experience. Use the people around you. I would also say take a good pit crew with you. Like take people that you trust and that will have your back. And also if you're doing it in a team of 4, have people in your team that like get to know your teammates, get to know each other's strengths, and just be able to bounce off each other as much as you can. I think it's important to have good people around you. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good segue, actually, talking about pit crew and having a good pit crew around you. What would you say is a good features of a good pit crew, or what you look for, or what people should be looking for when they're choosing their team? Yeah, I think you need to have someone that's organised, definitely. I think when I was pit crew for Luke, it's important to have everything out, like whether you've got your own tent set up or whether you're going to hire one of the ones from Tent City. It's important to have it out. So we went and bought little tubs from Bunnings. They had like little compartments in them. So you had like a tub for gels and you had a tub for like your first aid stuff. So you had everything that was just laid out, ready to go. So I think you need to be all, you need to be able to deal with someone yelling at you. So I think I came around, especially through the early hours of the morning and overnight when he was in a bit of pain. You kind of just have to be ready to take the abuse, I guess, to an extent, because what they're going through is nothing compared to you're just sitting there, feeding them or whatever it might be. So compared to the pains and stuff that the solo competitors go through, or any competitors, it's just important to be ready to just hand out whatever they want. Don't argue with them. Just someone that can take that that criticism, I think.
Yeah, not just that, just to push them as well. So you'll probably mid-lap feel like, this is it. Oh, I need to stop after this lap. I need to sleep. I'm done. You want someone in your pit crew to tell you to get back out there and try and get out of the tent and just push you to keep going, because if they make you you're going to stay there for a long time. So that's not what you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. And as a team of 4, how many pit crew did you have? Did you have just sort of 1 or 2 and then you used the rest of the team sort of took turns, or how did you structure that as a team?
So many people over there. So we had 2 teams of 4 and a couple of solo, or a few solo competitors as well. So we had 2 main pit crews and then use everyone that was there. So as a team of 4, obviously there's 3 people resting all the time. So we had like 6 people. We probably had 8 to 10 people that were there in the tent the whole time. So it was good to have. I think you'd probably want, probably 3, I guess, for people that aren't in pain, that aren't dirty, that aren't, good to have a few people there. But our amazing this year. We had, they were just ready no matter what you did. Like, because obviously as you come through around what's called Tent City, sorry. We were on one side, so as you came around, our pit crew were awesome. They said, what do you want? What do you feel like? No matter what it was, and then they'd get that ready. And then as you came back around the other side, they were good to go. So I think you have one for each person, maybe. Like you want someone that knows you well, that knows what you're going to.
To discuss it beforehand as well. Like have a bit of an idea of what you want.
Bit of a plan.
Have a plan. The plan will change. Will never be the same. You'll change it along the way. But if you've got a bit of a plan, say, on the 3rd lap, I'd really like this, or the 2nd lap, I'd really like that. At least it's the first thing that they ask you for, and you can brush past it and get to the next stuff. But yeah,
definitely. It's important to have a good pit crew. Just people that know you pretty well, I think, is important.
Yeah. Okay. And not too worried about having a few stern words. And maybe they need some thick skin as well to cop a bit of abuse.
Definitely, 100%. You definitely take someone that you're scared to insult, because I think I got a few times that year.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I got sworn at, trying to argue with him, and then I ended up just being like, "What do you want? What do you want?"
Yeah, awesome. All right, great. I guess when would you recommend starting to train for the enduro event?
I think if you're already somewhat at a decent fitness level, probably, like 6 months out is probably a good starting point. However, if you're someone that's completely brand new to that sort of stuff, I think probably even a bit longer. But I think we started probably about 6 months out for this year's enduro. So we started around about this time last year for March this year. So about 6 months, but you want to make every day count. So it needs to be a consistent 6 months of training. Look at what you need to work on. Go and try and test a few things, I think. But yeah, around about the 6 month mark, I think, is the go. Especially by the time Rego's open too, grab your ticket, then you're in, and then you have to train.
Yeah. Having said that, like 2018 was my first year, and I found about 5 weeks out. So I didn't really have a long time to train for it, but I'm to the best of my ability, and did some night stuff, and we'll touch on training a little bit after, but it's important just to use the time, like Erin said, make each day count. Use the time. Just keep training and do your best. Depends on, obviously, if you want to be competitive or if you want to just get out there for the experience, as Erin said before. But definitely. You want a good few months if you can. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And you need to just learn a lot about yourself in that time too. So those days when you're feeling, you might be feeling flat or you're just not having a good day, just remind yourself about like what your goal was. And I think you just have to get out there, even if your training session might not be as you planned it. I think still getting out there something with your body, even if it's a short run or a walk or a 10-15 minute weight session. I think it's all important just to make every day count, I think.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. I guess last one on the teams aspect of it. Do you have any tips or advice around strategy for teams, like in terms of, where would you put your fastest runner and how would you play to each other's strengths?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because you never really know how you're going to feel on the day. But I think having one of your fastest runners first is a huge benefit. In saying that, it just really depends because your fastest runner may not necessarily be your strongest person for your obstacles. So it's kind of you got to kind of balance it out a bit. I think lap is quite congested with the obstacles, so I think it's important to get your fastest person out first to beat the huge pack. But then they also need to be someone that can get over the obstacles that's not going to hold that up either. So I think, fast person first, get out in front of the pack, and that way you don't get stuck. I think my experience with that this year was that, so I went first for my team this year, and I found that I didn't get out fast enough. So then I got to the obstacles, and there was a lot of waiting around for other people to get over them, which is totally fine. But I think if I had obviously that's something that I didn't know was going to happen. So this year, next year it'll be a little bit different. But I think, having your fastest out there first, and then have like spread your other fastest out. So have like a third person maybe as another fast runner. But like I said, you kind of, it depends on where your strengths are. So that's why the training is so important, to try and have a balance between your running and your upper body strength for the obstacles.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it all depends.
Sure.
And that comes down to choosing your team too, and having 4 people that can discuss that sort of stuff, and being happy to just talk about everybody's strengths and weaknesses. Because like I said, what might be my strength is different for Luke's, or whoever's in your team.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think it's, as we told the guys going in, it'd be good if everyone could get a lap in before it's dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all 4 teams just about, all 2 teams just about got that done. So you can see the track before you have to take it on at night time, because that's a little bit hard. So if you've got a bit of an idea, it's a lot easier.
But it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about communicating with your team and, being comfortable. Like, hey, I think this person should go second, or this person. I think it's just about being comfortable around each other and just being able to discuss it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Cool. Great tips, guys. Thanks. What about sleep? All important sleep. So as a team member, should you do it? Should you pull an all-nighter? Or should you have some rest? What would you recommend?
I mean, I hardly slept this year, and I think the adrenaline gets over top of you. I think you don't really think about sleep a lot. You kind of just get to the point where early hours of the morning, I reckon I might have closed my eyes for about 20 minutes, maybe at like 5 a.m. the next day. But with having such a big team, there was always something that had to be done. So there was always a runner coming around that you had to help sort out. So I think it's a personal choice. I found that when I stopped and slept, I was worse for the next lap, or I found that I'd cooled down too much, or I don't know. Personally, I think you should just pull an all-nighter. I think that's what you do as well. But definitely in a team environment, it depends. I think it's a personal choice with that one, because some people are naturally, and then they felt energized to go again, whereas me, I felt worse. So I think it's a bit hit and miss. I think it's a bit of a personal one, that one.
Yeah, definitely. It all goes back to your training, and if you can get out there and do some night training and there's a bit of sleep deprivation, see how you're going to act when you do get tired. I think that's a really smart idea, especially this far out. It's not going to affect you too much, but it's going to prepare you. So
Yeah, and you guys did a couple of night sessions for this event, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We had a
good idea.
So in the lead up, probably I think
January.
It was probably 2 months
January.
before. Down to the beach at night time, and we got a thing in Adelaide called the Snake Pit, which is basically 500-meter sand track with hills and stuff like that, and it's right next to the beach. So we were doing a few laps of that with our torches, running across, getting in the water, getting uncomfortable, rolling on our backs and doing exercises in the sand. And that was about three-hour session, but we made sure we started that at 1 in the morning. So then it was the time when most people were asleep, when you want to be asleep. So it was a bit more of a mental thing, because it's hard to tap into that, how you're going to feel mentally as opposed to physically.
Yeah, that was probably one of the big we did in terms of sleep. So we obviously didn't sleep the day before, trying to prepare ourselves. We did the session overnight, and then we went straight to work the next day. So that was wasn't quite 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably would have been actually. Yeah, but it was that was just our way of trying to get our guys to teach them and try and educate them on how your body is going to react with no sleep and fatigue and that sort of stuff. So definitely get out there and just do some overnight sessions. It'll prepare you more than you think it will, even if it's only 1 or 2.
Yeah. And not just that, it'll also teach you to use your torches and stuff like that. So you go with your torch, and you want to learn how to change your batteries as well. Good if you can do that while you're fatigued as well for your training. But it's like that, and
it makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference, and obviously chafing's a huge issue. So you want to see how you're gonna go with that. So we just use like 3B chafing cream. really good. So yeah, but you learn all these sort of things. So
Exactly. Yeah, definitely worth doing, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Um, okay, so cool. So over to you, Luke. Tell us a little bit about your background.
so
Sorry, I missed that.
I was just saying I was just talking a lot. Sorry about that. Through there.
No, it's perfect. Good.
All right. So yeah. So my name's Luke, and I own Luke's Fitness Bootcamp. Been in the fitness industry for just over 10 years. So yeah, I'm pretty passionate about helping people, especially people that are brand new to fitness and people with injuries and stuff like that. And yeah, I really like the obstacle course racing and the endurance side of it in particular. So I've managed to push a lot of people through these sort of events and training events and stuff like that. But yeah, as Erin said before, I've got 2 kids and we pretty much live at the gym. And when we go home, we talk about the gym and we talk about the gym and how we can help them and stuff like that. So we're pretty passionate about it. But yeah, that's pretty much who we both are. So yeah.
Yeah, wicked. Awesome. And yeah, tell us about your specific enduro experience.
Yeah, so I've competed 3 times. I was lucky enough in 2019, my second year, to represent Australia. So to get a top 10 finish in another True Grit event, we had to fly up to Brisbane, didn't we?
Yeah.
To compete in True Grit there in the elites to get in the top 10 and managed to get 7th up there. So yeah, that was probably the big year, getting out there and putting out 11 laps on the track, and that was probably my best endurance experience until late. We've done a couple of other events, like I did Mount Borbor Adventure Race, and that was a pretty big deal. And my pit crew over here was pretty good that day as well. Yeah, endurance training and stuff like that. I've got a strong passion for. So we started up a class at the gym, we called it Enduro. We do it a couple times a week, and it's always a class that's going to go, post 90 minutes. Sometimes it's 3 hours. Sometimes so. Yeah, so we love it, don't we?
I think in terms of enduro, the events that you've done, probably each year, how would you say that you've improved, or how each year is different to the others?
Yeah, okay. So first year, obviously, 2018, like I said before, I only had 5 weeks training up my sleeve, and I didn't know what to expect. And going into that, I guess I learnt a lot. I learnt a lot on track about how your body breaks down and how tired you get. Yeah, that's something I should really talk about as well. Is on track, I was so tired that I was walking with my eyes closed for a lot of it, and venturing out off the track and trying not to fall asleep. But I made the mistake of laying next to a fire the first year. Laying next to the fire because I'd just gone through the dam and I was cold, I was wet.
It was cold that year, though.
It was in winter.
A June event. That one.
Yeah, I made the mistake of laying by the fire and nearly falling asleep, but getting so comfortable that I didn't want to move.
Right.
So that year 1, I learnt a lot of things like that just to keep moving. So going back to 2019, I didn't go anywhere near a fire, no matter how cold I was. I didn't sit down. I kept moving, just one foot in front of the other the whole time. So I'd learnt a lot from the year before. But taking that into last year, I went in with the same theory, just to keep moving. However, obviously it was in March. It was a lot hotter. I didn't go so well in the heat. 10 laps in, I pulled the pin, but it was just because that morning it was quite hot, wasn't it? It was nearly 30 degrees, but it was, for me, I hadn't done a lot of heat training. So, yeah, each year you do take something from it, but yeah.
Okay.
You learn a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I guess that's probably one. I was going to say, what are your top 3 tips for solo competitors? But I love that in terms of just keep moving one foot in front of the other and just keep going. Is there anything else you'd add to that, sort of maybe in terms of nutrition or pit crew or equipment, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So nutrition, basically, you don't want to live off those gels and energy drinks too much. You want to, eating whole foods like
that's one of the I think I was going to say. People just assume you just go for the liquids and the powdered carbs and stuff like that. But I think
fix,
the quick fix stuff, which is great, but I think it's so important to get actual food into you as well. Especially from a team of 4. When you get back, people think I'm just going to finish my lap and I'm going to sit down. But I think that's the worst thing you can do. You need to stretch as soon as you get back, refuel your body, be active, maybe find a bit of time to actually relax. But I find if you do stop for too long, you end up seizing up, you get sore, and you don't want to go back out there again. So I think use your time wisely as well, like the time that you have off in between your laps. If you are in a team, use that time wisely, try and keep active. That's a huge thing, especially with your nutrition. You need to eat the right foods at the right time, and that comes into your training and preparation too. You want to do those big sessions like we did at the beach, where you're trying, you're testing things that you think might work. Because if you get there and race day comes and you haven't tried any of the stuff that you've taken with you, you have no idea how it's going to react to your body. So I think use your training time. You have to try and mimic the event as much as you can in sections, and just try and find what works for you and your body, because it's not going to be the same for everyone.
Yeah, and like to stay awake as well. So you probably want to avoid the coffee and caffeine until it hits about midnight, and that's probably when you want to say have a coffee or a can of Coke or something like that every couple of hours to stay alert for the night. I learnt a lot about obviously the nutrition side of things after the first year, and talk to a lot of people on the track. That's what I'd recommend you guys do a lot. You're going to spend a lot of time out. People are going to be struggling. The more you're talking to them, it's going to help them. It's going to take your mind off of you. It's fantastic, but you learn a lot. So I was talking to one of the girls the first year. She was eating coffee beans on the track, and so I went back the next year with chocolate coated coffee beans, because I thought, well, I'm burning that anyway, I might as well enjoy it a little bit more. But yeah, the quick fixes are okay, like the gels and stuff, but the noodles, hot noodles overnight, nothing beats it. You know, you're struggling, you're cold, and someone hands you a cup of hot noodles, it's the best thing in the world. Yeah, but you learn all that, like I said, in your training, and it's like things that you crave. Salt and vinegar chips, huge. That's one of the best ones. Peanut butter is, it's again such a great thing. But yeah, nutrition, you just got to, each lap you got to eat. You just got to keep eating.
And especially when you don't feel like eating, you have to, like, you just have to force feed yourself. And that's where the pit crew comes in. There was one year I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? And he's like, I don't know. And then I've given him something. I don't want that. And I'm like, just eat it.
Just eat something. Yeah.
Really important to just, like I said, and that comes down to your, like how I said about it, just enjoy your first year too. Just like you'll learn a lot. Like I think this year I took all this food in the world and I didn't touch half of it, but it just prepares you for the following year, and you know what works and what doesn't. So just a huge learning experience, and just enjoy it. So
cool. Yeah. And I guess Luke, you mentioned there about training. So I guess any specific tips around solo training? I mean, you said that you did 11 laps. I think it was 2019. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of Ks on the legs, and I guess from a running point of view, how much running, or how long would your long runs be before the event, or how long would you recommend people be running up to in the lead up?
Look, that's a great question. We try and recommend people to do trail runs and stuff like that, because obviously it mimics the terrain a little bit more over there. So, that's a good question with the how far to go, because you can overdo it as well. So I say to try and get in some good sort of medium runs, once a week. If you can do a 10K run or something like that, that'd be awesome. Lots of little ones help out as well, but with your training, you are going to have to do those tough ones as well. So not just on the running side. It's more about your body will break down. It's 24 hours and you're going to be working for 24 hours. Your body is going to hurt. Your knees are going to get sore. Hips, you're going to feel grindy. You're not going to be moving as fast. Everything's going to hurt. But it's how you cope with that mentally that's important. So what we do with our training is we put on massive sessions that might not be as bad on your knees. So we've got obviously your bikes and your rollers and your skis where you're going to have your heart rate up and you're going to be working for a long period of time, and your body's going to break down. But we put a lot of upper body stuff in as well to, try and mimic obstacles and stuff like that. So the last we did was, some of them did a modified version that was done in 6 hours, and then the other ones did the full version, which was 10 hours. So it was a big day at the gym. So, but as far as the running and stuff goes, maybe get a few night runs in. Another good training thing to do if you're up for it is the David Goggins 4x4x48, which is run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. I did that earlier this year, just after the event, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But again, getting up, you're sleep deprived, and you're just going for those short runs. But again, your body's going to break down, and understand how you're going to deal with it on the day. So you got to learn about yourself.
Okay. And I guess that sort of, and we sort of touched on it very briefly, but didn't go into it, but in terms of stretching throughout the event, and what would you recommend around that?
So especially for the solo guys, you do have to stretch. We tried to, all our solo guys tried to keep moving on track, and then if something needed, a bit of a stretch like your calves or whatever, just lean against the tree and start stretching. If you need to do it right there in the mud, you stretch there in the mud. Sometimes straight after an obstacle, you might be crawling under barbed wire. You'll get out of the barbed wire, you'll get to go up, and you'll realise, my glute's really sore, or something's really sore. Then you start putting the work into it then, before it's too far gone. And then finish the lap, I would spend that time, a couple of minutes each lap, just having a good stretch. And we've got the foam rollers and the massage guns last time, and especially for the team perspective, they were stretching a lot, and it was as soon as they finished the lap, they would stretch for 10-15 minutes or so, even 20 minutes. And I think that's why they did so well, is because they'd do that, they'd eat, and they'd be ready to go.
Other thing in the team I found as well, that you get back, you stretch, you eat, and then you also need to allow time to warm up again. So because obviously having before, you probably get 5-6 hours or a decent amount of time in between your laps. So I think I allocated probably 10-15 minutes before, roughly. I mean, you don't really know how long your other person's going to take, but you want to allow a amount of time to start warming up, start getting everything moving again. It's such a big thing. You cool right down. So it's important not to sit too long, like sit for a bit, but then warm yourself up again and get ready to go. Because if you go from sitting straight to running again, that's injury, injury area that you don't want.
Yeah, that's right. And you'll as well not to go out too hard as you start a lap. Use that first K or so to just sort of build your speed, and then once you're going again, you're doing great from there. As great as.
Okay, cool. I'll just take this opportunity now just to mention, if anyone wants to ask Luke and Erin a question, just to pop it in the comments there, and we'll go for those. But we spoke about sleeping for teams, but from a solo point of view, Luke, what's your take on sleep?
Don't sleep. As soon as you go to sleep, that's so the first year long, I said to her, don't let me sleep. Whatever you do, don't let me sleep. Because the first year I had a sleep of maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, and I don't think I really recovered from it, to be honest. And then the second year when Erin was there, I managed to sneak a sleep. Like I said, make sure your pit crew know that you don't want to sleep and they're going to push you out the door. Because I managed to get Erin into giving me a hamstring and a calf massage while I was laying down on the bed, and I shut my eyes and went to sleep. It would have been 10 minutes, but as soon as she was done with that, it was a big slap on the calf. Get out of the tent, change my shoes and put new tyres on me, and I was off.
Definitely important to not. I don't think sleep, especially solo, because from what the difference that I saw in him this year without sleeping and compared to the sleep. Like I said, it was only 10 minutes, but that 10 minutes was a deep sleep, you know, and it was just harder for him to get out, and he was worse than he was before. So I think just try and avoid the sleep unless you're happy to sleep, and then it depends. I think because Luke is more on the competitive side, if you're just going out to just do it and do, you know, a few laps, and I think sleeping is fine if that's what you want to do. But if you're going out to be competitive, then sleep's definitely not a good idea.
Yeah, sure.
But again, one of our guys was in a bit of trouble. He wasn't coping real well overnight. And he's really slowing down, and he went to sleep in a chair, and I think he slept upright for about an hour and a half or so, and then like woke up, had a coffee, and he was good as gold. He was like a brand new man. So if you do, especially first year going in, don't feel bad for having it, and we're all there for different reasons, and we've all got different goals. So yeah, if you do need it, then go for it. But don't go to sleep.
It does seem like a bit of a luxury. And speaking of luxuries, what's your take on showers and keeping clean if you've got a bit of a break, especially for team members, or solo? Like, is it a good idea? Does it refresh you, or do you think just stay dirty?
What I personally think is to keep dirty.
Stay filthy.
Stay filthy. The other thing is probably the cleanest you'll get is in the dirtiest dam in the world, halfway around the track. When you're there, just get all the thick bits of mud off you and carry on. Don't spend too much time in there because it's not the most pleasant of dams to be in.
But I definitely think the same. I think otherwise, then that's time. That's you know, if you're having no matter if it's hot or cold shower, I don't know. I just think you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you know, any of them they get dirty again anyway. The next time you go around, so I think just embrace it. It's a nice feeling to know that you're covered in all sorts. So I think my tip is just deal with it. Yeah.
Enjoy the 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And I guess just to finish with that one, Erin, you mentioned get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think your nighttime sort of training sessions are a great opportunity to practice that. For anyone that's based down in Adelaide, can they hit you up at the gym to possibly join you for those sessions in the lead up to Enduro next year?
Yeah, just they can reach out to us through our socials or
I think we might advertise it a bit more this year too. I think last year we had like a small group of people that went, so this year we're going to obviously push it a bit more to not only our clients, but if there's anyone around SA that's keen, like Luke said, just reach out, and we're happy to host a bit of a session for anyone in SA that's keen, no matter where you're from. So it's definitely worth it, and the more people there, the better. Then it kind of mimics the event more. So we had about 10, 15 at the beach when we did it overnight early this year. But if you've got more, it's more opportunity to talk to people, and you know, just kind of that's what it's all about. So.
Swap ideas, share food, stuff like that. Those sessions are so good. I can't recommend them enough. Changing shoes, learning about your feet and stuff like that as well on the track is important. That's another thing before we finish up is your shoes. You got to make sure you get your trail shoes, but you got to make sure that you worn them a fair bit to know what they're like. Beyond 12 or 15 kilometres. So wear them in. Make sure you get a good pair. So so important. Go with a couple of pairs if you can.
Yeah, have a couple of pairs. Even in a team environment, I reckon I took 2 or 3 pairs that I switched between. So you definitely, because they do get dirty, they do get wet, and there's nothing worse than putting back on wet shoes. So definitely.
You're going to have to do that anyway, but your pit crew's pretty good most of the time. They'll take them to the fire and dry them out for you a little bit. Be as comfortable as can be. But
that's about it, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. There's so many great tips there. I've learned so much. I hope people watching have learned so much. It doesn't look like we've got any questions, so I think we've got some people that have, we've definitely had a steady amount of people there that I think are sitting back and probably quietly, mentally or physically taking some notes. So thank you so much. Really, really great. We look forward to seeing you next year's event. So it's not too far away. I'll just finish things up here then just by saying that don't forget we have registrations going live for our 48-hour early bird opening special, which kicks off at 6 p.m. this Sunday. So just be on our website, truegrit.com.au. To register for that. We do have the little competition going on, so if you've been listening in for the code word, it is endurance. It's a very creative word that just came to me a couple of minutes before this live. So just head to our website, truegrit.com.au/blog, find the enduro post and enter that code word there for the chance to win. Okay, so thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. We look forward to seeing you hopefully at the Enduro event in March next year. Thanks again, Luke and Erin. So great to see you guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.